If you've been wondering where I am, don't. It's a net loss of brain cells trying to figure it out, and to be perfectly honest, I don't know either. All I can remember is that incessant, never-ending, unceasing tapping situated about 5 feet behind me to my left. Once my eyes had adjusted to the low light of the room and the copious amounts of chloroform had worn off, I gathered that there was some sort of entity giving me a foot rub. Unfortunately, I had no sensation in my legs and could not enjoy the kind act. I'm gonna call this like a referential rant because it's got that nice like alliteration to it. Hello, it's your local pseudo-intellectual. Hopefully this is gonna be like a low effort content series I can just pump out because oh my fucking god, look at my channel. I'll probably throw the intro in that I made for the TikTok video because I don't think that will be coming out before this. You know those girls, how they have like telonyms on their stories or whatever? Yeah, this is gonna be easy clap. You gotta fucking... Dude, I'm not speaking English. Hang on. Okay, you know telonyms, but where you ask like anonymous questions or whatever. I mean, the person watching this right now, if you have any question for I'm 14 and this is deep personified, that's not true. I'm not gonna. I mean, I'd be down to talk philosophy and stuff, but I'm not gonna be like the source of it. The main sort of like reason I wanted to make this though is because I spent so much time just like literally just watching shit online. And that information gets used in conversation, sure, but I want to be able to reflect that into what I can talk about on here. I mean, it's my channel. I make what I want to make. That's in the fucking bio. In all honesty, where I have been is not getting a foot rub from a entity in a dark room. I've been watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. I'm sure there's nothing that I can say that hasn't been heard already, or like being heard. That was an unintentional pun. I did watch the whole thing, so I guess it's possible. Like, I think you actually have to be, like, you have to be in, like, that Berenstain Bears land to believe any of the fucking shit that was brought out in that trial, from Amber's side at least. I can definitely defend my stance. Like, I watched the whole fucking thing. Like, I came in with no bias. I wasn't a Pirates of the Caribbean kid or anything like that. Well, I suppose unbiased would be incorrect. Like, I've had experience with, like, false allegations and stuff in the past. You'll definitely be seeing cuts in this. I'm gonna cut so much shit out of this. Like, holy fuck. I'm gonna, like, say the most unhinged shit, and you'll never hear it. It'll never hear the light of day. No. Okay, well, I was talking about fucking Amber Heard Johnny Depp. Yeah, so I think I would probably have, like, some sort of implicit bias watching the case, but I don't think it really manifest destiny, bro. Fucking west from east coast to west coast, bro. We need to go left, more left. Okay, fuck. I have notes. Like, I can do this while recording. Oh. Here we go. That's what I've written down. I spent like 2 minutes writing shit that I could talk about beforehand, so I had like some form of pointers. Because I mean, you know, there's a decent amount of stuff that I've seen recently that I thought was kind of entertaining and I wanted to share. Yeah, so anyway, I was talking about my notes. Okay, the difference between Amber Heard's and Johnny Depp's like expert witnesses especially was just fucking night and day. You had Dr. Spiegel.
Therefore, it could not be considered ethical. And I'm telling you how that applicable to not just expert law, but also managed care, and applicable to multiple branches of medicine. Hospital duration of hospitalization stay, they get evaluated. So tell me where you want me to end this.
Well, why don't we talk about
out here like fucking doing this like insane performance, just going off, like actually popping off, bro. Just
all I'm saying.
Let me ask you about pirates, though. You compared pirates to the to the depositions given in this case.
Then I apologize for what I said. Then I misspoke.
You misspoke? You didn't make the comparison?
Right now, just a second ago? Just a second ago, I may have said that I misspoke. I apologize, I misspoke.
Okay.
Hated almost universally. And then on the opposing side, you got, who was the expert witness that Johnny Depp's team brought in?
So, for example, when Dr. Spiegel was testifying about the report that Mr. Depp was unable to recall these 3 objects, What he could have done is said that I have not personally examined Mr. Depp, so I can't speculate about his cognitive state.
Well, I mean, you could just compare, like, even, like, earlier in the trial, Dr. Curry and, I mean, she came back later, against the other woman who just, like, got a vendetta against fucking Dr. Curry.
Dr. Curry, Dr. Hughes, I don't know why I keep doing that. My apologies. Dr. Hughes.
It made sense. She got, like, personally butthurt, though.
Now, Dr. Curry said you misinterpreted her test results. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I agree that I agree that I interpreted and that she misinterpreted them.
Okay.
Like, people during the trial kept mistaking her name and saying Miss Curry or Dr. Curry, and then being like, oh fuck, because I don't even remember her name. It doesn't matter. Like, oh my god, holy shit, the entire trial, man. Just fucking Amber Heard doing that.
Social credit deducted.
Like, every fucking chat I looked at while they were watching live is just like Pepe stare the whole fucking time. She was so fucking, it was scary. It was so scary. It's kind of ridiculous that Mr. Woolman's statements managed to be ruled to be, I think, like, you correct me if I'm wrong and you care enough. The Mr. Woolman statements, didn't they rule in favor of Amber, saying that was defamatory from Mr. Depp, Johnny Depp, because Mr. Woolman was an agent of him. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the outcome. But you'll be able to tell there's like no research that goes into any of this series. Like, my other videos will be research and stuff. Don't worry, this is just gonna be like fucking unhinged takes off the cuff, bro. Wow, now we're breaking canon in all sorts of ways. I filmed this after the bit you're about to see. Anyway, I completely forgot to bring up Elaine. Holy shit. I'll put up a clip of it, maybe. She's been hopping on various news panels, I think is what would be the correct terminology. Yeah. And essentially, like, she's just been like, I think she's making grounds for fucking season 3 of the Johnny Depp lawsuit Boogaloo. There's grounds for another defamation case, is what I'm saying. She has been popping off.
Demonize Amber and suppress the evidence. What basically they did here is demonize her, and that's because she was demonized here. What they learned from the UK case is to demonize Amber, which is what they did. A number of things were allowed in this court that should not have been allowed. It's a tale of two trials. Johnny Depp brought a suit in the UK for the same case, and the burden of proof was easier for him there. The son had to actually prove that it was true, and the court found there, and we weren't allowed to tell the jury this, but the court found that Mr. Depp had committed at least 12 acts of domestic violence, including sexual violence, against Amber. We weren't allowed to tell them about the UK judgment. We had an enormous amount of evidence that was suppressed in this case that was in the UK case. In the UK case, when it came in, Amber won, Mr. Depp lost. We even had tried to get the UK judgment in to dismiss his case because he already had his shot. An enormous amount of evidence, although a lot of it was suppressed in this case as opposed to the UK. Remember, it's a tale of two trials. All the evidence came in the UK. He had his opportunity to tell the truth then. And a 3-week trial, he lost. The judge found 12 acts of domestic violence, including sexual violence, to try to suppress as much of the evidence that came in the UK and did not come in the United States. There's a tremendous amount of evidence, much of which did not come into this trial, did come into the UK trial.
It's a different system, and the judge, it wasn't a jury, it was a judge. The judge said it was substantially true, and that is significant, and I think surprised a lot of legal analysts. But, in this case, the jury not only didn't believe Amber Heard, but in ruling that she acted with actual malice, that means she had the intent to cause harm, right? That's a pretty high standard to have proven.
Don't look at it. Do you think they did see it?
How can you not? They went home every night. It caused the jury to be confused. We had a 10-day break in the middle because of the judicial conference. There's no way they couldn't have been influenced by it. And it was horrible. And I have to believe that the jury, even though they're told not to go and look at anything, they have weekends, they have families, they have social media.
They were not sequestered. They were not sequestered.
And the 10-day period we had, how could they not have been influenced. I was against cameras in the courtroom, and I went on record with that and had argued against it because of the sensitive nature of this. But the other problem is we had cameras in the courtroom. So here we had, not only did we have a group of Depp fans that were there every day, 100 were allowed in. They lined up at 1 o'clock in the morning for their wristbands to be in that courtroom. But we had everything on camera. We had tremendous social media that was very, very, very much against Amber.
It was pointed out that that was the first time that a victim of sexual abuse had to testify on live television.
And I fought hard and lost that battle. I think that a lot of that was that it was Johnny Depp. I think the celebrity status.
But she's a celebrity too.
And they threatened to microwave her baby. This is the kind of social media she was getting. You know, one of the first things she said is, "I am so sorry to all those women out there."
Heartbroken.
She is heartbroken. And one of the first things that she said when she came back from the verdict, when we went into the conference room, was, "I am so sorry to all these women." Unless you pull out your phone and you video your spouse or your significant other beating you, effectively, you won't be believed. And unless you pull out your cell phone and you tape record your spouse beating you, you're out of luck. Media, it was like a Roman Colosseum. It's like the Roman Colosseum. We had text messages from Mr. Depp's assistant saying, "When I told him that he had kicked you, he cried."
So
we had significant amount of texts, including from Mr. Depp's assistants, saying, "When I told him he kicked you, he cried. He is so sorry."
So you thought that they weren't fighting fair?
Correct. I don't think they were fighting fair.
So I am a former NFL player, and after a hard loss, it's easy to wake up and point to the other side. Oftentimes, I realized the better thing to do was to look in the mirror. What mistakes did I make as a player? What mistakes did our coaching staff make? And then how can we improve from there? Do you feel like you guys made any mistakes along the way? Do you feel like Amber made a mistake while she was on the stand? Because you're saying it's the celebrity, it's Johnny, it's the people who support him. But what about you and your team?
Well, and that's an excellent question.
And I find it so entertaining that it comes after that dude, and I will definitely put up a clip of it. After she tried to use her classic method of discrediting someone. So this is a highly televised trial. Are you just here for your 15 minutes of fame?
Okay, you know this case is being televised, right?
I am aware that there are cameras.
And so this gets you your 15 minutes of fame, doesn't
Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative.
I can ask that question.
Overruled.
So I stand to gain nothing from this. I'm actually putting myself kind of in the target of TMZ, a very litigious organization, and I'm not seeking any 15 minutes here. Though you're welcome to speculate. I could say the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
A little argumentative, don't you think?
Oh, hardly. I find that to be purely logical. Thank you.
Now, so you reached out to the umbrella guy in this text, this Twitter, right?
I wouldn't call it reaching out.
In fact, the umbrella guy is in Mr. Adam Waldman. Do you know who Adam Waldman is?
I have no idea.
Well, he's testified earlier that he talks to the umbrella guy.
That he what? He talks to the umbrella guy?
Yeah. Were you aware of that?
I honestly, this sounds like schizophrenia.
And then he just fucking did the Uno reverse card, fucking objection. The amount she's been going on these goddamn streams is just evidence of that, bro. Like, holy, unequivocal evidence that she was, in fact, looking for a 15 minutes fame. Or maybe she's just genuinely super butthurt about the result. She actually thought she was right, like fighting on the right side of history, you know? I mean, I guess like she could totally have developed a bias after working with Amber for so long, you know? I don't know. Give me your thoughts on it.